Bacteriophages are infections that taint microorganisms. They are found all over the place, in soil, in water, and even in the human body, generally in our gut and mucus. They were initially found in 1915 by Frederick Tort and have since gotten moderately celebrated in the field of microbiology as a restorative apparatus to help control bacterial infections, while phage treatment is still being worked on. It is conceivable that it could be utilized in various applications. It has just been utilized to treat some various sorts of afflictions, and it shows extraordinary guarantee for the treatment of conditions extending from cystic fibrosis to malignant growth. Some state that in our time of anti-infection, safe microscopic organisms, phage treatment additionally offers a practical swap for conventional antitoxins. Tropical frenzy grass has consistently could develop in soil with a surprisingly high temperature. Analysts have since found that the reason behind this exceptional capacity is by all accounts an infection. A parasitic endophyte develops on this grass, and an infection that contaminates this organism is by all accounts the wellspring of this warmth-safe power. Even all the more intriguing, researchers appended the infection to different plants, giving them a similar capacity. The analysts even figured out how to develop tomatoes in soil as hot as 60 degrees Celsius (140 degrees Fahrenheit) without murdering them. But what occurs on the off chance that you expel the infection? They found that plants, relieved of the infection, lost the capacity to develop in outrageous warmth. Perhaps that is the manner by which the human torch does it. Vesicular stomatitis infection, VSV, is an infectious sickness that is most popular for tormenting ponies, in spite of the fact that it can likewise taint different creatures and even people. It isn't generally lethal or even especially risky for people. However, it can cause influenza-like manifestations. A few people even create rankles in their mouths because of the infection, which is typically transmitted to people through horses. But this infection has likewise stood out as truly newsworthy for its utilization in oncolytic infection, OV treatment. Indeed, VSV has demonstrated guarantee as a developing anti-cancer treatment. Obviously, one reason that this infection is such a solid match for OV treatment is on the grounds that it is not pathogenic to people who might have felt that an infection that caused mouth ulcers in ponies would be the wellspring of an earth-shattering new malignancy treatment. Adenoviruses are a gathering of genuinely regular infections. They are incredibly infectious, ordinarily cause just mellow indications, and for the most part leave inside a couple days. Some of them are very notable: bronchitis, pneumonia, many stomach contaminations, colds, croup, and even meningitis would all be able to be found inside the adenovirus family. But analysts have additionally discovered that one specific strain of the infection, type 52, HADV52, ties to a quite certain sort of starch found in malignancy cells. This makes some fascinating opportunities for infection-based malignant growth therapy. There is clearly additionally concentrating to be finished. Be that as it may, later on, researchers may have the option to arm infections with qualities to help battle malignant growth. They may likewise have the option to utilize infections to enact the body's own invulnerable framework to battle the malignancy itself. Virologists have gotten particularly intrigued by noroviruses. These specific small-scale living things are notable for their capacity to cause pestilences of the runs on voyage ships. They are additionally notorious for their capacity to attack lab mice provinces with disease, but incidentally, a few strains of the infection have demonstrated valuable, particularly for their job in assisting with normalizing mice that have developed in sterile situations. These mice don't make enough T cells. which harms their gut microbes and safe response to fix the issue. Specialists have demonstrated that offering microscopic organisms to the mice can help to rebalance their invulnerable cells. Yet adding a norovirus to the blend can really tackle a similar issue. Analysts additionally found that a few strains of the norovirus assisted with diminishing the impacts of pathogens that normally cause weight reduction, looseness of the bowels, and other related side effects in mice. This makes for an energizing disclosure as scientists uncover better approaches to utilize infections for good. Giving strains of the norovirus to people to treat different maladies would be viewed as profoundly questionable. However, a great deal of proof says that it could really help. Antiquated retroviruses might be the explanation we don't lay eggs. Scientists presently can't seem to unwind the whole part that old retroviruses have played in human improvement. In any case, some of them, actually alluded to as endogenous retroviruses, are accepted to have helped in the advancement of the placenta in mammals. To put it into basic terms, a few researchers accept that a crude human predecessor got in an endogenous retrovirus that caused transformations in the hereditary code. This in the long run prompted well-evolved creatures being able to do live birth. The arrangement of the placenta was a colossal advance in the developmental procedure since it permitted well-evolved creatures to bring forth live youthful. In any case, when you investigate the connection between a mother and a hatchling, it isn't astounding that it shares a significant number of similar attributes that you would hope to find in the connection between a host and a parasite. The work is progressing. Yet, don't be astounded on the off chance that we find some time or another that the explanation human females bring forth live infants as opposed to laying eggs is on account of an old infection that changed our DNA. This one is genuinely specialized, however it is no less amazing. The gamma herpes virini is actually a subfamily of herpes viruses that incorporates various diverse infections. There are really a wide range of sorts of herpes infections, with the most popular models presumably being herpes simplex infection type 1 and herpes simplex infection type 2, which cause mouth blisters and genital herpes. As it turns out, an disease with one kind of gamma herpes virus type MHV68 has been appeared to build protection from contamination with Listeria monocytogenes, the microbes most popular for nourishment poisoning. Who would have imagined that herpes would assist with battling food contamination? This story really starts with a risky infection called smallpox. No one is certain where it originated from. Yet, it is accepted that even as right on time as the 3rd century BC, it was tormenting the Egyptian realm. Record of it have been found in China from the 4th century. And it has essentially shown up wherever since. It was an overwhelming malady that murdered around 30% of tainted individuals. Indeed, even the individuals who endure were regularly left with horrible scars because of the ordeal. But in 1796, an English specialist named Edward Jenner made a disclosure. He saw that milkmaids tended not to contract smallpox as regularly as every other person. Before long, he understood that a comparative infection called cowpox regularly spread from dairy animals to the milkmaids and may have had something to do with it. He tried his hypothesis by vaccinating a kid with material from a cowpox sore and afterward presenting him to smallpox. In spite of the fact that it might seem like a stunning investigation, it was really effective. This prompted the act of inoculation that wound up destroying the smallpox infection 2 centuries later. HIV is presumably one of the most startling and scandalous infections of the 21st century. By and by, another infection, GBVC, has been getting some consideration from researchers for its impact on the individuals who are HIV positive. GBVC is an individual from the Flaviviridae group of infections and can likewise be alluded to as hepatitis G. The fascinating part of this infection is its impact on the movement of HIV. To lay it out plainly, individuals who have both HIV and GBVC will in general showcase a more slow movement to AIDS and improved chances of endurance, which is pretty amazing. Who would have envisioned that an infection as perilous as HIV might be eased back somewhere around the presence of another infection? Did you realize that human awareness may have initially been brought about by an infection? Indeed, it is conceivable. And here is why. Researchers accept that an infection appended itself to the genome of one of our progenitors quite a while in the past, most likely even before we strolled on two legs. In any case, they likewise accept that a minor piece of the hereditary coding contained inside the infection, despite everything, exists inside our cerebrums today and might be liable for some genuine intellectual prowess, including cognizance itself. The art quality is fundamental for the learning procedure in people. Abnormally enough, it imparts by sending hereditary material starting with one neuron then onto the next, utilizing a procedure that is usually observed in viruses. 10. Further investigate must be done to decide precisely what this implies. In any case, at the present time, it looks just as it is truly conceivable that we acquired our capacity to take in and structure cognizant musings from the hereditary material of some antiquated mind virus. Yes, the universe is certainly an odd and baffling spot.